Every time I think of Steven Tyler, I think of Liv Tyler, and then I'm like, oh man, I could really go for some Lord of the Rings. I could always go for the Lord of the Rings. Full extended editions. I mean, oh, I usually tie in the front. I didn't tie it in the front because I was trying to make it like less loud. Everything's natural. We don't ever stage anything. All right, let's sit down for a second. I'm gonna put this. Hello, little lady. I could use a cup of coffee, because if we're gonna sit and talk, I don't waste a sitting, talking with friends opportunity without a beverage of some kind. And since it's not yet 10 a.m., it probably should be coffee, but that's okay. When I was having my coffee this morning, I was reading this article, which really, it made me think about a couple of things. So I'm gonna bring them up, it was called 5 Easy Ways to Become Carbon Neutral. And it was fashion oriented, probably applies to lots of industries, but this one was fashion oriented because I've been reading more and more articles about becoming more sustainable, fashion sustainability, green goals, carbon neutral goals in the production and manufacturing processes, which is awesome. Super, super great goals to have. The thing is this, sometimes when these specifically really large companies, large production companies, I'm sure that you can think of some, talk about their sustainability goals and their net carbon and their reducing emissions and their all of those things. That is really awesome, like I said. However, it also, to me, especially with the frequency and quantity of articles I've been seeing about this just in general, makes me think about, frankly, the elephant in the sweatshop. We're not talking about the sustainability of the labor. We aren't talking about our goals for the humans. And so though I love the prospect of making a more sustainable production and manufacturing process for our clothing in general, and I want us to go in that direction, I don't want one of the biggest pieces to be left out of that conversation, and that is all of the humans that exist and make it possible for us to be wearing all of this stuff. The average Bangladeshi garment worker is still making $3.15 a day. And so your first thought might be, or my first thought was when I read that, well, currencies are different, money is different, so maybe I'm like misunderstanding that. But then I looked up the average cost for an individual to live in Bangladesh. Again, a country that is so far removed from us in so many ways, and maybe we don't understand. Maybe there are differences that I'm not seeing, and maybe this could still be okay. $455 a month, including rent, to live as an individual person in this country. So, maybe you've already done the math, you're quicker than me. $3.15, and on the very, very low end, it takes $455 to live a life, somewhat average or lower income life in that country. I'm coming in at about, let's put it at $90 a month, $97 a month. They're making, working in the garment factories to produce clothing for many companies that you know. This is just one country, right? But we're just using it as an example so that we can recognize the fact that we're, again, not talking about it, because we probably don't want to, because it's uncomfortable to think about. And you wonder why you can see these incredible deals on these websites. And I guess it hurts me when I see the deals that people are getting on the clothing that, that I see every day. And I'm so happy for them on their budget that they are able to afford something that they have wanted, and that is awesome. So as you can see, it's convoluted, it's complex. There are lots of pieces of this that make it difficult to have an opinion about. But when people ask, Are you gonna sew this by hand? You know, for the alterations, are you gonna sew this by hand? Or are you gonna do this by hand? I know what I think they mean. I think they mean like with a needle and thread. But to me, by hand, until we invent fabric that can walk itself to the cutting table and then assemble itself into a shirt, 100% of the clothing that you and I are wearing right now is made by hand. Does that mean that somebody is sitting at a table somewhere and with a little needle and thread with beautiful lighting and air conditioning on and they're sewing that together for you? No, it doesn't, but everything that you're wearing is custom. Everything that I'm wearing is custom. Somebody in this world with their hands cut it, took it to the sewing machine, assembled it, packaged it, drove it, flew it, sailed it to us. Everything that we wear, every single thing without exception was created by humans. Now, you can extrapolate that any way you want, but was it made by hand? Is it totally custom? Is it totally bespoke? In my personal opinion, based on what I know about factories and production and construction and design and all of the aspects that go into the clothing, yes. I mean, it's hard to imagine in our super technological world that there isn't just a bunch of machines out there cutting and slicing. And yes, they're helping, they're assisting. But if the clothing can't be made without the touch of a human, then in my opinion, it was made entirely 100% for you by a person. So I love our green goals. I love our green goals. I think they're really important. I think net neutrality or carbon neutrality and net neutral emissions and increases in the awareness of sustainable practices in our dyeing facilities, sewing facilities, even the transportation that goes to and from, growing of the natural fibers, creation of the synthetic fibers. All of that is awesome. But don't you think that if we started at sustainability of our humans, a lot of that might fall into place after? I do. So, our future as an industry depends on the same thing that it always does. Us, the decisions we make, the work we put in, and what we're willing to see and accept and know and do something about. Thank you for watching this one.